The gift that I'm making to the museum covers the approximate 40 years that I've lived in Taos. And of course, you don't think of yourself as living in history, but if you live long enough, you are history. My father was an architect, and my mother was an interior designer. So, art, art, capital A, art, wasn't often a topic, but aesthetics was part of the daily conversation at our house. I was trained as an art historian. I have my degree from Yale in that. Because of my art history background, I was able to get a position in the Minneapolis Institute of Arts. I had a foot in the door, and within a few years, I was the curator. I resigned my curatorship in 1972 and went to Los Angeles. I had acquired a panoramic still camera, or so-called still camera, but before I left Los Angeles to come to Taos, but it wasn't until I got to Taos that I learned how to really make it work. And of course then, the difference from the big city to the small rural community surrounded by mountains and desert, that it really, the landscape shaped me, and my work was a response to the world around me. What this gift specifically does is fill in that a third phase in the history of contemporary art in Taos. We talked about the founders, and there's the Taos Moderns, and then there's this nameless group that I am part of. The thing that makes it special is that I've lived, these aren't unknown people to me. I understand, I know the personalities, I know the relative talents. I've seen, in the case of Larry and Ken Price, I followed their careers as friends and neighbors and fellow artists for almost 4 decades. I don't have an exact count, but it's north of 300 works that are coming to the museum. Of those several hundred pieces, only 3 or 4 were done by people that I didn't know personally. The works in this collection are in many medias and many mixed medias. There are prints and drawings and watercolors, sculptures. I don't know, I think there are probably 80 artists represented in this group. It's like talking about your children. They're all your favorite at one time or another. Larry Bell's been my friend for a long time. He's been my next door neighbor and business associate for close to 40 years. One of the Larry Bells I'll show you might weigh as much as a half a pound. And so they're very, they have everything that Larry is known for, light and the transmission of light and the reflection of light, but they also move. And so all these elements of light and space and the change, reflection, transmission of light are all there in these new works, and they're sensational. Another one of my favorites is an installation by Ken Price. It's called A Death Shrine, and it is one of my great favorites. Kenny was known for his fabulous ceramic sculpture. He was a master craftsman and elevated the everyday coffee cup to the highest possible levels of fine art. Extraordinary light, lightweight wear, and superbly drawn and perfectly fired. The university is a flagship institution, and it is contributing to it's contributing on a worldwide basis. It brings in the scholars. It's attracting these great students and the great teachers. And I think that mix will also bring in the great philanthropists. made the gift because I believe, because I'm a passionate collector, and I'm equally, I have been a museum professional. That makes me an educator. Even though I'm not on the faculty, it makes me involved with UNM. The lifeblood of a museum. The lifeblood of a museum is the support it gets by gifts and bequest, particularly in a small, relatively impoverished community where there are, that even in spite of its 90-year age, does not have endowment funds to purchase things. The Harwood is a very special one. It's the second oldest museum in the state of New Mexico. And it is certainly one of the most vital institutions in the state. I can't think of a major museum in the United States that I haven't been in. So I think the Harwood, that's just the Taos version of a world-class museum.